Everyone does. All right. So what's the premise of this? What do you guys think is the premise of, what are we trying to accomplish? That's the first thing we need to do. Right? Well, I mean, what is this right here? Specifically, this area.
Our intranet.
It's a what?
Intranet.
It's an intranet, but what else? What else did we call it earlier?
Three-tiered architecture.
Three-tiered architecture, right? Why do we put in a three-tier architecture?
It keeps everything self-contained, it keeps everything more secure.
More defense in depth, a little bit more secure, right? So that's what we're trying to accomplish in this. So let's start off with, right, be the packet,
Okay,
okay? So, packet's coming in through the internet.
okay,
First thing it's gonna hit is a firewall.
all right.
What do we have to have on this firewall for the internet to communicate to it?
Gateway.
Gateway, okay, what else?
Router.
A router, okay?
Are you looking also for DMZ?
DMZ, right? Yep. And so where we would put those, okay? So let's start off with is a router, okay? Now, just to simplify matters, because you're correct. Let's just call the firewall the router in the same device. Not the way it should be, but we'll add that later, okay? So what does this have to have for the internet to communicate with it?
A NAT.
A what?
A NAT?
A NAT and then a
Public-facing IP.
public-facing IP, right?
Yeah.
So, let's start off with over here. 207.11.22.3.3. Right? Okay. Now, Ahmed, what do we have to do? What could we do with this? I mean, we don't have to, but what are we probably gonna do on this side here?
We have a private IP address.
A private IP address, right? So we probably want to have, we'll stick with, are you good with Parker's design? Right? Okay, you approve? You're good as a governance?
Okay.
Okay, so if this is gonna be 192.168.1.3, what is it gonna be here?
Nothing.
A what?
Nothing.
A what?
Nothing.
A what?
Gateway.
I'm giving you a pen so you can come up.
No, no.
Oh, you know what?
Like Jesus now.
Reese, you gotta stop gluing people to their chairs, dude. Okay, so what are we gonna put here?
Gateway.
Okay, and what, we're gonna net it to what?
To the public IP.
To the public IP.
So 192.168.1.1.
But we wanna put it here, we're at 168,
The gateway.
1.1. Okay, so that way as we are hitting this, it has to net and go out, and then the same way in. Okay. Now, why does this have to be in the same subnet? Here.
Because it's part of our private.
It's our private, okay? So then, we have the IP address on both sides, right? We are able to communicate with the web server, right? Right? What is this one, Joe? And you said it a few minutes ago.
DMZ.
A DMZ, okay? So in here, right, we're gonna draw, if I can find the correct color, the DMZ. And the DMZ, Joe, stands for what?
Demilitarized.
Demilitarized zone, which is,
It separates your web server and your public-facing equipment from your other stuff.
essentially our public-facing stuff, the stuff that could readily be attacked, the stuff that we need to place higher security on, right? Things we should watch higher, things along those lines, okay? All right, so we're gonna put this into our DMZ, right? 192.168.1.3, so it's able to communicate. So this area right here is the DMZ, right?
Yes.
Okay. What do we want to do with the packet now? The system, the packet comes in, hits the firewall, gets netted, hits the web server, so it's now the web interface. What do we want to do with the data now?
We want to be able to move it further into your infrastructure.
Okay. So it has to be, essentially be processed,
Yes.
okay? So how are we going to do that? We have to get the packet to the application server.
So don't we need to have an IP, we need to have an IP address in both the application server and center down.
Right,
So, but it needs to be in the same group still.
does it?
But should it?
It should be on a separate network.
Uh-huh.
Because if they hit the web server, you don't want to give them easy access to the application or the database server.
So do you want to subnet it into a different subnet?
Mhm. Let's try it.
Or just make up the whole.
Let's try it. You got a pen?
I got a pen.
You got a pen?
Everyone send it to you.
Yeah.
Anybody else want a pen? I got plenty. Come on. You may not want to be on here, Jay. I don't want you to make Robert sick. So, or anyone else.
Kind of gross me out, dude.
Yeah.
Am I able to segment using a third octet for
Yeah.
subnetting?
Well, it depends. What is your subnet range? What determines that? Whether you can do with a third octet or not?
Isn't that only VLAN?
Wouldn't it be like super netting where you have to go to like a /23 to actually get into the third octet, or am I just way off?
No. You're close though. Your thought is good. So what is it? If you wanted to get, and this will work, so what subnet, what do you have to have? You already said it. You just,
/24?
a /24, okay? So do the math. Feel free to do the math, right? Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? We have 192, 168, 1.0 is really the network,
Yes.
okay? /24, okay? Then what does actually, let's do it this way, sorry.
Just out of curiosity,
Mhm.
would it be easier to do like a 172? Just, I mean, or are we wasting IPs at that point, and that way they're just completely separate? on a
We don't know how many
class?
users we have, do we?
Well, I think it's, your thought's good,
Yeah.
okay? Just for now, right,
Okay.
we can keep this. There's nothing wrong with that, there's nothing wrong with this, yes.
So like, how would you do it though?
Okay.
How you would do it?
Well, I know how I would do it,
Okay.
okay? But that's, the entire point is I'm trying to make you guys think.
I know,
So-
after we're done.
Okay.
Like, proper procedure would be like this.
Let's go back to the basics though here for a second. And your comments are perfectly
You
valid.
break, I fix.
Sorry.
You break my
Silence.
fix
Yeah,
is my competitor.
hang on. Sorry.
Supporting the enemy.
Supporting my enemy, man.
I didn't know.
Come on!
Okay.
They're the reason I got laid off.
If you fix my surface, I will come back to you.
Okay.
Okay, all right. What have we been telling you since Network 1? As far as these networks go? Very basics. Where's the split? What side is a host and what side is the network?
And class C here is where it gets split off, right? Because that's
Yeah.
how we
Ask the audience.
Yes.
Yeah?
That's why I was a little confused when we said we can just adjust the third octet, because that should be part of the network ID.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we?
I mean,
If I'm changing this, no.
I mean with CIDR, I'm pretty sure you can. I don't think there's.
Okay. Well, let's work it out. Okay? Let's work it out, because that's the entire point of this exercise,
Okay.
right? So, your suggestion,
Yeah.
can we do that? Right? Yes? Is everyone following so far? Okay, so if we do that, what do we have to do to get from the .1 network, the one network, to the two
We
network?
have to route it.
You have to route it, or
Uh,
what acts as a router at times?
Switch.
What acts as a,
Firewall.
yeah,
So
alright,
you just add a firewall in between.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
okay,
Well, don't you want multiple firewalls already?
yeah.
So we could just add a firewall.
Use the pen. You want a better pen?
I want a better pen.
Okay.
One of the fancy ones.
Yeah, so don't we want to add in a firewall here?
There you go. Okay. So how are you gonna IP the firewall?
We want to IP the firewall in this subnet. Now, we will two of them, because we want one out
There you
here
go.
and one out here.
Right? Yes?
So,
You need entry, let's say.
168.2.1,
Okay.
and 192.168.6. that be all right? Because now these guys are on the same part, and then it goes into here, this
Okay.
route's over to here. Now,
So what am I gonna tell you? Be the,
be the packet,
okay, so how are you gonna be the packet?
I don't know.
You okay? Perfectly valid answer. That's why you're taking a class, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we come into the internet, we hit this IP address, right? Then we hit we get natted to the 192.168.1.1, right? Or at least the packet goes through there. Okay, it's not the actual NAT, but we go out this interface. We now hit the same interface. Now, in this case, this is in the same subnet. So do we need to route it or anything?
No.
Okay, so then, we tell the packet, okay, now Mr. Packet, the web server now tells the packet, you need to go down to the application server. So I'm gonna send it over to here.
Okay.
The firewall, right, in this case, we're just gonna use the routing features of the firewall, okay? And say, we'll send it out to 192.168.2.1, okay? Which then goes, and then, once the packet's on this side,
So you'll talk to this guy.
will it be able to?
Yeah.
Yeah?
This is
Why?
the Same octet.
There, because it's in the same subnet, it's in the same subnet, right? Same octet, same subnet. Okay, great. So the application server then sits there and processes it through.
Okay.
Okay, now it needs to get name, address, or shopping cart information. So what does it need to do now?
So if it needs to get this stuff from out here, is that what you're asking? So like from something?
Well, you're the packet's here right now,
Okay,
okay? So after it processes it, let's say we decide to go, and buy something off of Amazon,
okay.
okay? What does it need to do and talk to? It needs to find out whether it has it,
DNS, is that?
not in DNS, no. What does the data have to do? When you go onto Amazon, you're hitting the web server, you say, click this, add to cart, right?
Yeah.
You buy a whiteboard marker.
Does it need a handshake to verify?
How do you know what's in stock? What?
Server?
What?
The database.
Hang on. Joe, I think I usually I should put, can I put like flashing lights? Does that help?
I didn't know if that was a P or a D.
No, it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
You should know my chicken scratch by now.
It's the peanut butter server.
Yeah, I like the peanut butter server.
Do you
I do like peanut butter.
All
So it
right,
needs to go out here.
so it needs to go down to the
Can
database.
we keep this on the same 2 octet? Because
What overall is this concept?
the 3, what did you say? 3-tier architecture.
So now do you want to ask your question again? Do you want to keep it on the same subnet?
No.
Because,
Answer that for me?
right, ask the audience.
Why did we do it, the web server and the application server? Why did we keep them separate?
Oh, so because we needed to have it on different segments.
More security.
Yeah.
So rather than a firewall in between the database server.
I mean, right now, money's no object, right? So,
So we can add as many as we want.
Yeah. well, right now, I'm trying to teach you conceptually, technically, what can happen. Money is obviously an option.
So
a
in
problem.
3-tier architecture scheme, firewalls are gonna be your go-to, just layering them up
Yeah.
and stuff.
Right?
Now, is it better to do like hardware-based firewalls or software-based firewalls, like routers that may have some sort of firewall?
The politically correct and totally worthless answer is that it depends,
Depends.
right? On conceptually what your money is, how much you want to manage, and things like that.
Software-based is probably what most people would go with, just because it's cheaper.
Well, yeah, but I don't think, we'll get into firewalls here
I
about
know a lot of
software.
companies use
Okay,
hardware-based.
so now we see the packet, right? We now find out that our whiteboard markers are inside are in stock. We say, yes, go ahead and process the application. There's probably gonna be a lot more to it because we gotta check people's credit cards, right? Sandesh is gonna, what's your credit card number? Sorry, no, okay, all right, later? Okay. And then it's gonna go back to the application server, so the packet now has to return it, right? And back up and to the internet. So, thank you, Parker. Who wants to be the next victim? I mean, who wants to come up here? Reese? No?
I'm learning, I'll stay up here for you guys. I'll
Nobody
take
else
the
wants to
bullet.
volunteer? Man, okay. So,
We're on camera.
Everyone else is in witness protection.
I'm on the camera.
that's what you get for being late to class.
That's okay.
All right.
I was stuck in traffic.
So was I. Yeah. Okay, so what happens as far as firewall rules here?
You need to allow certain types of traffic, you deny certain types of traffic.
Okay, when I drew, so, let's see, where's my, drawing black for right now, right, remember this? Right, the report, sorry,
So allow anything at the end of the packet that's related to, excuse me.
yeah. It's a little bit off, my drawing is a little bit off here, so maybe I should move this a little bit here.
So any packet that has any sort of Amazon information on it, let it through the firewall.
Did you stop volunteering?
No, I'm going back